Hello everyone, and welcome to another beer review. Now, we're doing a beer today that I was in Penrith at the time, and I was looking for kind of local beers, and I'll be totally honest, this was the most local beer I could actually find in Penrith. It was actually quite disappointing. And I tried all the supermarkets there. I tried this kind of weird local one, I can't remember the name of it was. Then I did Marston's and I did Sainsbury's. Even speaking to the guy in Sainsbury's, I says, do you have any kind of local beers, what they like and all that? Oh, we've got a few local ones and that. We don't do Jennings and that type of stuff, but we do have some good local ones and that. So yeah, not a bad selection, right in there, absolute call. So there was, don't know what you fucking class as local. But anyway, so we've got Lancaster Bomber. Oh, there we go, it's an amber ale. Where's the water live here? It's 4.4%, 500ml, and yes, it's a class. Best of British type, full-bodied amber ale. Full-bodied, there you go. Always get worried when they say a beer's full-bodied. Well, I would take that as a given. I'd want it to be full-bodied. For the type of beer that you're basically producing, I'd want it to have the right amount of body, that type of stuff. But anyway, there's a bit of spiel in the back. It says, a classic English ale, chestnut in colour, with a lovely full-bodied, there we go again, flavour, enriched with a wonderful late hop character. A multi-award winning ale that pays tribute to the Avro Lancaster and is quite simply the best of British beer. There we go. And that's it, doesn't really say much else. Apart from Lancaster bomberale.co.uk. There you go. And yes, funnily enough, it's moved. I actually meant to say brewed there, and let's not. Anyway, so yeah, it's Carlsberg Marston's that's producing it. So let's just say I won't hold my breath, because I'd be daft if I did. But yeah, well, let's see what it's like. I'm sure it could be wonderful. It might be wonderful. Bit gassy. Bubbling like a bastard, look. A good start, isn't it? That's an attractive thing. Jesus, it's open like a fucking Pepsi or a bottle of Coke. Oh, for fuck's sake. And this has just been sitting in the garage in a box. So it's not as if it's basically been disturbed. So I don't know what's going on here. Fucking Carlsberg Marston's. Yeah, shits. Look at it. It's all doing my fucking hands and everything. Oh, fucking hell. Everywhere. Just open up your arseholes. Oh, for fuck's sake. It's pissing everywhere. Ah, Jesus. Right, bring that bloody thing there, right? Fucking sodgy then. No, don't. Not on my crotch, for fuck's sake. Please don't. Right, there we go. Managed to get it. There we go. It's pissing everywhere. Right, anyway. Let's pour it out. It's a lively bugger anyway, isn't it, eh? Must be a piss I get in the bottle, eh? Fucking hell, look at the heat in that, by the way. So my trousers now. There we go. Jesus God. Look at it. It's coming out like fucking ice cream. So it's more like heads and cremola foam. Anyway. Right, for people on the podcast, it is a slightly kind of chestnutty, kind of amber colour. Very clear. You see nails and everything through it, not a problem. Head-wise, well, it's a 2-finger head. I'd probably say it'd be closer to a 1-finger head, but I don't know what's going on with this one, but this one's got a bit kind of radio rental, which is rhyming slang for mental. Yeah, it's kind of, well, it took me a while to actually get the top off it because it was pissing everywhere, and I didn't want to kind of have it all over my crotch, It's quite cold just now. Well, everybody says it's cold. Oh, it's freezing. Oh, it's cold. Oh, there's going to be snow. There's going to be blizzards. Oh, there's going to be chaos. And you're thinking, nothing happened really. All this big hoo-ha and hullabaloo about the weather. And I was like, is that it? Pathetic. Seriously. Anyway. Typical scaremongering by the bloody media, yeah. I mean, if you sat there and watched the news, and believed it, you'd be constantly just shitting yourself, wouldn't you? You'd be in a constant state of panic with these fuckers. I honestly really don't understand. What is the point of it? I mean, of course, I understand like bad news and scaremongering seems to be popular and catches people's attention, but not everything can be a fucking disaster, for Christ's sake, you know what I mean? So this is all you get is disaster after disaster. Breaking news, boy shits himself. Another pair of pants will be required, you know. It's like, fuck off. Unbelievable. Let's interview the neighbours. Do you think he has an extra pair of pants? Do you think he's going to have to go out and buy a new pair? Oh, you see the price of pants? You know, it's like, fuck off. You know, it's unbelievable. Utter nonsense. Right, what's the smell of? It was way on a wee tangent, you know. I was ready to kick off in a full rant. I thought, no, don't. Control yourself, Graham. Right, what am I getting smell-wise? Not really much, really. Maybe a little hint of malt. But not really anything, to be totally honest. Very, very lacking in aroma. Yeah, maybe a little bit of hop there, but again, you're fighting to try and get an aroma out of it. It really is. It just kind of maybe slightly wafts and then disappears again. You think, what was that smell? Is it gone? It's gone. You notice what that? Just a little wave of, oh, what was that? You know, you might feel like the fucking biscuit kid. Try to smell for some. And that wee bugger always had his nose in the air. Going by the adverts. Right. Might as well taste it because there's nothing really kind of being given away by the aroma. Okay, right. It's a bit different. It's a bit of a nutty finish, so there is. There's a slight bitterness to it as well, but it's a strange one. You start getting the bitterness coming in the aftertaste, you know, the back of the mouth. And then you just get this nuttiness coming right over the top of it. You're thinking, how the fuck is that happening? And you're like, how is the bitterness being overshadowed by nuttiness? You're thinking, where's some bitterness coming? Oh, nuttiness over the top of that. You think, what? And of course, it's not a bad bit of bitterness that the actual nuttiness is actually overpowered. And you're thinking, so you can get a rough idea that there's quite a bit of nuttiness going on in the back end there. And you're like, what the hell? Yeah. I'm getting kind of hazelnuts coming over the top there. First impressions, it's actually not too bad. It's not the worst beer in the world, but again, it's not going the way you would expect it. You know, it starts off and then it just, something else from nowhere just seems to come out of it. And yeah, it's like, well, it's bloody gassy. Fucking hell, it's gassy. Jesus. And the way Jim watching this thing, he doesn't need any give him fucking win, for fuck's sake. Yeah, boy can do it by himself, for Christ's sake. Don't bloody have him taking the end, it's going to give him fucking wind. That's the last thing he needs, fucking bastard will explode. Well, that'll be it, what he'll be thinking, because he thinks I'm a bit flatulent. I'm not flatulent, I just think it'd be more flatulent about him. But anyway. But there's a little bit of soapiness as well, because the way the hops are coming in the back end, it's got a little kind of soapy dishwater kind of feel to them as well. Or as some people might say, coriander, because coriander gives you that kind of sensation as well sometimes. Strangely enough, people that eat coriander, some people love it, other people get a kind of soapy kind of feel to it and flavour of it. And funnily enough, these people also kind of get that in the hops as well, sometimes with certain hops, because there is a connection. There's a surprise. But yeah, I mean, it's all right. I mean, let's break down the flavours. Front of the mouth, it's okay. There's kind of decent enough amount of malt, not kind of watery or that type of stuff. So there is a bit of body to it. So there's a bit of malt, bit of grain, a little bit of sweetness as well. But yeah, you're starting to get kind of like the hop sneaking into the front of the mouth. And I honestly, to be totally honest, usually when I basically get that coming through into the front of the mouth, the hops coming through into the front of the mouth, it usually tells me there just isn't quite enough malt and grain to just to kind of push it back and keep it in the kind of mid-tongue. Because if you expect I usually expect with a lot of beers, kind of traditionally brewed beers, that you should really be getting the more kind of hop flavours, whether it's floral or bitterness or citrus or that type of. It really should be kind of more apparent in the mid-tongue, and that's where it really should be kind of initially starting and growing from. If it's coming in that kind of early, well, usually is the case is it's just slightly down in the malt a bit, and it's just allowing the hops to come through a little bit earlier than probably what they should be. But yeah, you move on to the mid-tongue, and yeah, you're getting the malty flavours, they're kind of there, so you kind of die down a bit, you're getting a bit of the grain, the sweetness kind of stays the same, it doesn't kind of dissipate. And you start getting a little bit of hoppy kind of accents coming through, a little bit of floral, a little bit of bitterness, and yeah, it's an okay mid-tongue, nothing great. And again, not really doing much. I mean, the front of the mouth isn't really kind of doing much. The mid-tongue doesn't really kind of do that much until it gets near the end and it starts to transition to the kind of back of the mouth and the aftertaste. That's when it all kind of starts to kind of kick off. Because just as it kind of transfers to the back of the mouth and the kind of aftertaste, that bitterness starts to kind of ramp up. You think, oh, here we go, here we go, here we go. And it transitions into the kind of aftertaste, transitions into the back of the mouth, aftertaste, here we go, hoppy, 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 and then from bloody nowhere you get this nuttiness, kind of slightly hazelnut kind of flavour just coming right over the top of it and just kind of shatters the blooming the bitterness. And yeah, you've ever eaten kind of fresh hazelnut, and you get that kind of lingering, slightly kind of hazelnutty kind of flavour in the back of the throat that kind of lingers. That's the type of thing you're getting in this. And yeah, it's just a bit. But with that, just before you get that kind of lingering hazelnut aftertaste, I'm just getting little soapy accents, just as everything starts to kind of dissipate away and moves away. You're left with this kind of soapiness that's been obviously sitting there, but it's been overpowered by other flavours. So your bitterness is dying down, the kind of hazelnut kind of nuttiness is kind of dying down, and then it's just starting to get this apparent soapy kind of flavour and kind of feel to it. And then as that starts to kind of dissipate, you start getting that kind of little bit kind of hazelnut kind of residue aftertaste, just kind of fading out. And yeah, it's a bit of a strange one. I mean, it really is. It's all going on at the back end. I mean, front of the mouth, mid-tongue, yeah, okay, nothing to write home about, nothing particularly special. But then it all just kind of kicks off. It's like, it's like a fight for fucking position, you know, and superiority in the back end. And it's like, whoa. It's all happening now, and probably a bit too much happening in some ways. Not a big fan of the soapiness though. But yeah. But also, the sweetness dissipates a bit, but there's still not a bad bit of sweetness just in the back of the mouth as it moves towards the kind of aftertaste. So it dissipates a bit, but it's still kind of, it's there from front to back. Fair play to it. But yeah, you are getting this kind of nuttiness, which is a bit strange. I mean, because you get nuttiness in beers, but I've never had it to that kind of level where it's kind of taken on a bitter edge from the hops. So yeah. Right, so what would I give this out of 10? Well, I like the bitterness, but I just wish it would carry on a bit. It's kind of a bit disappointing. It's a bit gassy as well, actually. Excuse me. Bloody hell. And as you seen what it was like, it was a bit kind of, I'm going to come out now, I'm going to come out. You know, you're trying to lift the cap off. Like, I'm ready, come on. You know, it's like, Jesus, calm the fuck down. So yeah, it's a bit kind of, you know, too much life in it as you try to get out the bottle. But overall, it does have that kind of Marston traits, whereas the case is always like, I always find with the Marston beers nowadays, now I know it's Carlsberg Marston's not, but what I find with Marston beer is you just feel like they're going through the motions, really. You know, they're not really trying to make a good beer or a wonderful beer. It's like, oh well, let's go through the motions. You know, it's just, they just about manage the basics, really. They don't do anything kind of wonderful or groundbreaking or something to kind of write home about. It's like, oh, okay. And I feel that from the front of the mouth and mid-tongue, that's what you're getting. That kind of like, well, it's the kind of minimum people are kind of looking for. So I suppose, yeah, we'll give them that. And, you know, they could give you so much more, but they just don't. And it's always a case as though I find drinking Marston beers that you drink it and you're thinking, I wanted it to be more. I wanted it to give us more intensity and more clarity. I just felt that you could have done it so much better if you just kind of gave a shit. That's what I feel like. It's like you're kind of going through the motions and just not really kind of, well, yeah, that's fine. That'll do. I'm sure that's probably a terminology that it's used quite a lot. Is, yeah, that'll do. What do they want for their money? You know, it's like that. And of course, even though it's quite a busy back end, again, in contrast, it doesn't actually lift up the beer. It just kind of confuses the drinker a bit, thinking, what the fuck is going on here? And there is that kind of slight element of confusion because the flavours are slightly all over the place in the back end. So there's a kind of lack of flavour in the front, in the mouth, in the mid-tongue. And then, yeah, there is plenty of flavour in the back end, but it's all over the place and it just feels kind of disjointed. And that kind of soapiness isn't particularly pleasant either. So what would I give this out of 10? There's a question. I'm saying, I mean, I think apart from the back end, I think it's a very average beer, really. I think it's about a 5. And even though there's more going on in the back end of it, it's just all over the place and it's just a bit disjointed. And I don't feel that it's really kind of working. So I don't think it's kind of improving it. It's not making it any worse than it already is. It's an average beer and it's not kind of lifting it up out of that, but it's also not dragging it down either. And it's just kind of like, well, there's some bits are okay and other bits aren't okay, and you want the bits that are okay to kind of give you a bit more and deliver and come to a finish, and it doesn't, you know. So it starts off with that bitterness but doesn't really kind of deliver the bitterness and, you know, and all that type of stuff. And yeah, so I think, yeah, probably the best I can give it is a 5. I think, yeah, it's just a pretty average kind of beer, and it just, doesn't really deliver. I mean, I know you read the hype on the bottle. It's best of British, best of this, and it's wonderful and award winning. Again, I don't give a shit about that. At the end of the day, it's not a balanced beer. It's kind of lacking in certain areas, and then at the end, it's just kind of slightly all over the place. It's kind of disjointed and flavours coming here, there, and everywhere. So yeah, it's 5 out of 10, 4%, 500ml bottle. Thanks for watching. Cheers, and bye for now.